Would I be the a-hole to my husband and mother-in-law if I refused to give my mother-in-law a home with us? I'm rather shocked today to find myself asking this question, but it just came up last night and today. My husband's brothers and sister-in-laws want us to give my mother-in-law a home. I'm refusing, and my husband, who is an amazing man, is standing by my decision. Background: we've been married 40 years, and to this day, I've never met my mother-in-law due to her refusals. Prior to our marriage, she cut off ties with my husband when he divorced his first wife for cheating on him. His mother says he humiliated and ruined the family by having the first divorce in their family. He refused the career she wanted for him and had arranged for him. And finally, he left New England to live in Texas. I am Texan. 5 years after his divorce, we met and decided to marry. My mother-in-law claimed it wasn't a legal marriage because it took place in Texas. Evidently, Texas is not part of her world. She never accepted our son as her grandchild, and when we got custody of his daughters, his ex-wife developed mental issues and became horrendously aggressive. My mother-in-law renounced them for going to live with their dad and that Texas woman. My mother-in-law stole the money his father and later his grandmother left him. We chose not to fight her over money. So now she's 96, mean and grouchy according to my husband's brothers. She needs help with everything. She lived with the other two sons for the past 15 years. They feel it's our turn. Here's the problem. I developed 4 types of autoimmune diseases which have robbed me of my strength and many physical abilities. I live in constant pain, and about 7 months ago, I learned I have an untreatable brain tumor. I've been told I possibly have 3 more years. I honestly don't want to live my last years with this woman. She has hurt my husband so much through the last 40 years, and he is truly the best person I've ever known. I won't go into details due to character limits, but he has supported me in every way imaginable. He accepted, loved, and adopted every child I brought home because they were abandoned or mistreated. He treats me like a queen, and the thought of bringing his mother in who will criticize and belittle him is just more than I can bear. This is it for me, my final days. It's a great deal sooner than I planned on and want. We're traveling, loving on our kids and grandkids, having fun, and just loving each other. I'm trying so hard to fill these days with happiness and smiles, so when I'm gone, he'll have joy to remember and not bad times. I know him, and I know how much he'll miss me and how much he already hurts. My husband's brothers told me today if I don't take mother-in-law, my husband will always regret it. My husband says he feels he owes her nothing and owes me everything. He said he'll take her in if I want. Not the a-hole, and tell his brothers that according to her, he's not her son, and y'all already provided financial assistance when she stole his inheritance. She can F off. Not the a-hole. According to your mother-in-law, you're not even family. You owe this woman nothing. Her other kids won't like it, but that's not your problem. Live your life the way you want to. Not the a-hole. Even if you weren't terminally ill, you still wouldn't be obligated to house mother-in-law for any reason at all. She has done nothing to deserve your hospitality, and you deserve to be able to live through the time you have left with peace and happiness alongside people you love. Not the a-hole. You are giving his mother back what she gave you and her son. None of your time and consideration. Guess karma just served his mama a big old helping of Texas payback. Edited. We're going to meet them for breakfast. My husband is telling them absolutely no. For the ones who've said my husband was being weak in his opinion. No. If you knew him, you'd know this man does everything for me and my desires. He said no all along, and I was the one considering taking her in. You see, he left his career and moved our family so we could take care of my parents. He was amazing to my mama and daddy. He's very glad I agreed to say absolutely no. I broke up with my ex after I found out I was pregnant because of how he behaved when I told him. I was living with him at the time, so I moved in with my brother and his family until I could find my own place. My pregnancy has been extremely rough, and my ex wouldn't leave me alone, so my sister-in-law insisted I stay with them for the duration of my pregnancy so that they could make sure I was okay. My brother has a 15-year-old daughter called Amelia. We're very close, since I used to babysit her all of the time when she was younger. My sister-in-law found out that Amelia has been sending my ex information about me since I moved in with them. When I asked Amelia why she would do something like that, she started crying and said she did it because she overheard me telling her parents that I miss my ex and that when he first asked her for help, he said the same thing to her and that he was just worried about me, the baby, so she thought she was helping us. My brother was pissed and yelled at her for what she did and made her show us her phone to see what she had sent to him. From the messages, we found out that she was giving him information, pictures, and videos of me in exchange for money. My brother ended up making her give me all of the money she made from spying on me and grounding her. A few days later, it was just me and her at home. She came up to me and begged me to give her the money back because she was saving to take these expensive art classes that her parents couldn't afford. She kept saying she was sorry and that she didn't do any of this to hurt me. I ended up telling her I wouldn't give her the money back, which made her cry again. I did confront my ex about it, but he was not apologetic at all and told me I should have let her keep the money since she was just a kid and this was all his doing, not hers. He also said he wouldn't have had to resort to this if I had just spoken to him myself like an adult. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole, and don't give the money back. It was her brother that made her give you the money, and therefore was the punishment. Giving her the money back would be going against your brother's punishment. Not the a-hole. She was taking money to provide information to your ex. I don't care what someone's intentions are. This is a dangerous game to play. This could have had a very real and negative outcome, and your niece should not be rewarded for her actions, regardless of what her intent was. Put the money towards a lawyer, which you clearly need, and tell niece that you have done so. That might make her see the seriousness of the situation, and still punish her by not letting her have the money, but also make her not resent you for just keeping the money. Not the a-hole. Well done for your brother and sister-in-law. They appear to be doing their best by your niece and supportive of you. You didn't make your ex do anything. His crap choices were all his own doing. Avoiding rotten people is the adult thing to do. Spying is what toxic people do. Backstory. I'm 10 years older than my younger sister and have a house about 2 hours from my parents' house where she lives. My sister often stays with me on the weekends because I live a few minutes from a large recreational lake. This is fine, as long as she is quiet and allows me to sleep, as I work 5 a.m. to 5 p.m. shifts all weekend. My sister is very courteous, and I enjoy having her over. However, my sister's been bringing her new friend with her. They drive separately because the friend leaves for summer school on Sunday nights, and my sister is on summer break and often stays until Monday afternoon so we can spend more time together because I work weekends. This friend has been nothing but trouble. She is very loud, obnoxious, and annoying. She often wakes me several times during the night laughing loudly, going in and out of the house and slamming the door, using the microwave, oven timer, etc. I've nicely told her to please keep the noise down, and she always says that she is trying to be quiet, but forgets sometimes that I'm there. The major issue is that the friend continues to park directly behind me in my driveway, where I cannot back out to go to work in the mornings. I go to bed around 8 p.m. on Fridays, and the friend usually arrives at my house later than that, so I can't catch it as it happens. I always have to find her keys in the morning to move the car myself, or if I can't find them, wake her up to move her car. This has almost made me late for work every Saturday for the past 5 weeks. I remind her the next day when I get home to please not park behind me, because there's plenty of street parking. But it never fails for her to be behind me the next Saturday when I leave for work. This week was the last straw. I set up a traffic cone behind my car last night to remind her not to park behind me. When I woke up this morning, I saw that she had moved the cone and parked behind me even though the space behind my sister was empty and there was plenty of street parking in front of my house. I was extremely angry, as this was at least the 5th week I told her to not park behind me. I called a tow truck and had her car towed. While I was at work, I got an angry text from the friend asking about her car. I explained to her that I'd had it towed and that she was not to block me in intentionally again, or she was no longer welcome in my house. My sister and her friend both think I'm the a-hole, but I feel that after so many reminders, my actions were justified. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. And why would you allow her in your house? Tell your sister she is welcome, but her friend is not allowed on your property at all, so she can get a hotel. I'm hoping today fixed the issue with the parking, and if it did not, the friend will no longer be welcome. I was accommodating for a long time, and patience is finally up. Not the a-hole. You repeatedly asked her not to park behind you. You left a cone out to remind her, and she still blocked you in. I wouldn't even give her another chance to come over if it were me. You need to sleep, and you need to be able to leave the house on time for work without stressing about someone blocking you in. Also, you deserve basic human decency and respect from anyone who is staying at your house. Since she can't manage to do that, she has no place in your home. Her moving the cone made it obvious it was a power move. She wanted you to know that she had the control, even though it was your house. She's just angry that you showed her how idiotic that was with an even bigger power move. She was counting on you to just swallow it, not the a-hole. Update. My sister has apologized to me. She was unaware of the times I had to move her friend's car, and only knew about the 2 times I had to wake her friend to find her keys and move the car. The friend did not tell her I was moving her car in the mornings. I tried not to start drama between the 2 of them by calling the friend out in front of my sister, so she truly did not know how I felt. She and I have agreed that the friend is not to come back over, and I doubt she and the friend will remain friends for much longer. Thanks for the clarification that I was not the a-hole. I, 40 female, Have been a widow for 4 years and have 3 minor children. My wife left me as the owner of her 4 rental homes. Due to health problems, scoliosis, and knees, I resigned from my last job, and my main source of income is housing. I do design freelance to complement the money I got from my wife's inheritance. I decided to buy a better house for me to live with my kids and renovate the empty rental houses to increase the rent. I also bought another house for rent as well. My family lives well. It's not just luxury, but they live well. But the rent income that is left over goes to my family's medical problems. My son has a vision problem that the health insurance doctor is not specialized in, as well as my doctor. That said, for almost 2 years, I've been renting one of my houses to my sister, Camilla, not her real name, and getting a discount for being a family member. She only pays 70% of the price. But just like I do with all people who pay rent, if you are 3 months late, you will be evicted. My sister, 8 months ago, was fired, just cause, from a job, so she doesn't receive some unemployment benefits, and has been going through a very tight financial situation since my nephew's father disappeared from the map when he found out he had a son. And in the last 7 months, Camilla has not been paying the rent and some house bills too, and this charge has come to me. Despite the discount, this rent is important for the income of the house. I tried to be understanding. I increased my freelance jobs to compensate for this rent. Due to the amount of time I sat, my back pain got so much worse, and there were countless times I had injections in my back to get to sleep. I sent warning letters, I texted, I spoke in person, and she just made excuses. Until it was 3 months late. I gave an eviction order with 30 days of tolerance and warned her by message. She ignored it. After several notifications from the bailiff, I called the police and Camilla was forced to leave the house. Since then, she has been living in a shelter, but will move in with my parents. I offered to pay for the move-in ticket. She declined. I also offered housing for my nephew. She also declined. I'm being called horrible things by my parents and uncles, saying I left my sister and nephew homeless, that I had an inheritance from my wife, I invested in the houses, and that I lived well, so it was selfish of me. I think I'm in my right. Am I the a-hole? Extra. All this is in a contract signed by both of us, and I left a lot of the contract like the fine for this situation. And I didn't ask for the payment of the late rents. I just asked for the eviction. Extra. Following the tip, I didn't offer her to live with me because she is extremely allergic to dog and cat fur. Anaphylactic shock, depending on the situation, and I have both. My nephew is not allergic, so I offered it to him because my sister can't. Well, some information. In the first months, I managed to keep things as they were, but due to my health getting worse, I had to cut my work to 1/3 because not even with medication it was solving. I couldn't let my sister live for free because, as I said, the rest of the house bills go to healthcare, so it would compromise my son's health, especially since he has a doctor in the capital. Transportation plus consultation plus exams at the clinic itself. Faced with this and the cut in my work, I had to take it out of the income of the house. So I was tight, and even giving up my medication so as not to be in debt, I was still tight. No medication, more sleepless nights, and more trips to hospital to control the pain. I just couldn't live this way, having the option to improve it. Sadly, this is an example of why you don't want financial involvements with family, because when they go wrong, it creates drama. You've already been very generous by giving her a 30% discount, and by working more yourself to cover the cost of her missing rent at the cost of your own health. In return for which she has ignored all attempts from you to communicate. She was offered a discounted rental, not a chance to freeload, and she's worn that out too much. Not the a-hole. It's not your responsibility to house her, and she's thrown your generosity back in your face. Not the a-hole. Is there a reason she hasn't got a job in the last 8 months? Why should you have to pick up extra work in order for her to live for free in one of your homes? Not only has she been living for free, it sounds like you have been paying her utilities as well. You gave her 4 months more than the 3 months you usually give. Tell your parents and uncles that they are more than welcome to support her and provide a place for her to live. But you and one of your children have medical issues that require money. If your sister is staying at your revenue generator at a reduced price, or free due to not paying, that negatively impacts your family's quality of life. If you kicked her out of your summer home in the Hamptons, I'd say you were the a-hole. But in this situation, you're not the a-hole.